Hello everyone, it is Storm Ranger, and today I'll be going over the brand new Boombox item that was added to Fortnite Battle Royale. I'll be going over everything that you need to know about how to use this brand new Boombox item. This will give you an advantage on your opponents, because your opponents probably will not know how to use this item, and by knowing how to use this item, you'll have an advantage and you will be able to defeat them in-game. In this video, I'll be going over when the best time to use the Boombox is, when not to use the Boombox, and I'll be analyzing clips from when I and my opponents were using the Boombox in-game, and what went wrong or what went right in those clips. So before I continue, I'd just like to take a second to shout out today's comment of the day. Thank you for commenting on my previous video. If you want to be shouted out in one of my future videos, all you need to do is comment about anything in the comments down below. With that being said, let's continue with our video. So the Boombox is an epic item that is found in stacks of 2. The Boombox can be found as floor loot or found in chests. When the Boombox is thrown down, it'll take 2 seconds to set up. After that, for the next 23 seconds, it'll blast out a total of 35 sound waves. Each of those sound waves will destroy all nearby builds. This causes for the item to be very powerful, because if your opponent is near the Boombox, they are not able to build and you are able to shoot the opponent. This can be very useful for if your opponent has high ground. Later in this video, I'll be analyzing several clips, and I will show you how I was able to win a build fight despite not having high ground thanks to the Boombox. So in this clip you can see on screen now, I was playing a game of Fortnite, and the person third-partied my opponent in the middle of a fight. Once my opponent was killed by that person, I then went and fought the other opponent. I managed to catch the opponent off guard by building up and then throwing a Boombox. This was able to destroy all the builds and left my opponent exposed, which allowed me to easily shotgun him down. Thanks to the Boombox, I was able to win this fight. Without the Boombox, I may not have been able to get a clean shot on the opponent, and he may have built, preventing me from shooting him. This may have caused for me to lose the fight. Now, my opponent did try to build while I was shooting him, however, he was not able to build because of the Boombox. The Boombox was very useful to me in this fight because it allowed for me to kill the opponent despite him trying to build. This is why it is so important to understand how to use the Boombox. My opponent did not understand that he was not able to build because of the Boombox. Because of this, I was able to kill him without taking any damage. If he understood that at the range he was at, he was not able to build because of the Boombox, then he would have shot me back, and he could have possibly killed me. Then I got third-partied, I then built up, and my opponent did not have a Boombox, so he was not able to knock me down from my build. Because of this, I was able to hear him knocking down my build, and I was able to drop down and shotgun him in the face for 180 headshot damage. I was then able to heal up to full health. If my opponent had a Boombox, he would have been able to knock me down, and he would have had the advantage in the fight. This is why the Boombox is such an interesting item. It's an item that takes away high ground from other players. The Boombox is better for taking away high ground from an opponent than the explosives because it has a constant flow of destroying structures for 23 seconds. And unlike explosives, you are able to be more coordinated with the Boombox, and you are able to plan ahead using the Boombox. The opponent in that last clip should have done something like what I did in this next clip that you can see on screen now. So as you can see, I was building up against my opponent, however my opponent was able to take high ground. I was not able to build up to my opponent because I did not have any mats. Even if I did have enough mats, there'd be a risk of being third-partied. So instead of going into a big build fight, I threw down my Boombox and knocked down the entire structure. This caused for my opponent to be exposed, which gave me the advantage in the fight. This allowed me to get a free shot on him before he was able to react. Similar to my opponent in the previous clip, he forgot that he was not able to build because of the Boombox. Because of this, he was exposed for about a second, which gave me a free shot on him. This is why it is very important to understand the Boombox and how you cannot build. When you're in a fight and someone uses a Boombox, it's important to immediately react to fighting instead of building. This is different than your instant reaction for a normal game of Fortnite. Because usually in Fortnite, if you lose the advantage in a fight or you are exposed, your immediate reaction should be to build immediately. However, the Boombox prevents you from doing this. And because of this, it's important to immediately fight instead of immediately building when you have the Boombox. Of course, this will take you a little while to get used to, but once you get used to it, it'll give you a major advantage against those who do not understand how the Boombox works. However, the player I wasn't going against was not a bad player, and he was able to immediately react. He started fighting me, and he actually hit me for a lot of damage. However, the reason it took so much damage was because I missed one of my shots. If I did not miss that shot, I would have not taken nearly as much damage. The reason it took so much damage was because of my aim, and not because of the way I was building or using the Boombox. So in my previous 2 clips, I was showing you how to properly use the Boombox, and what went right when I was using the Boombox. But in this next clip, I'll show you how I died because I misused the Boombox. This clip occurred shortly after the first clip. So this fight started with my opponent being unaware of my position. Because of this, I was able to get one clean shot off of him with a scar. This is unrelated to the Boombox, however, I made a mistake here by just holding down the trigger and not by tap firing. I also did not take advantage of aim assist by going in and out of the zoom feature on my gun. If I tap fired along with zooming in and out from my gun, I would have been able to get a few more shots on the player. So I see my opponent is building in a house, which my immediate reaction is I should use the Boombox. However, I wanted to get closer to him because I didn't want to be exposed while I was throwing the boombox. Because of this, I built up above him. However, as you see, I throw 3 boomboxes around me, which was a major mistake, because this took a height advantage away from me. I should not have done the boombox after building up. I should have only placed 1 boombox so it would not knock down my own structure. For a situation like this, you do not need more than 1 boombox. 1 boombox has plenty of range and is enough for a fight like this. Another thing I could have done was not placing down a boombox at all and carried it out like a normal fight. Because I had high ground, I had the advantage on him and I should have kept that advantage. So anyways, as you can see, the boomboxes caused me to get a disadvantage in the fight. I could not find where my opponent was. And because of this, I started panicking and I started building. This was another mistake of mine. I knew that there were boomboxes and I knew that I was close enough to the boomboxes where they would affect my structures. However, I built anyways because I was panicked. I should have searched for the other guy instead of building. Because of this, I got shot at. I was very confused because the shots were coming from behind me. I started building. Of course, it was no good because of the boomboxes. I then got finished off by my opponent and I was eliminated from the game. Once I died, I realized that I was being third-partied, which brings up another risk of a boombox. When you throw down a boombox, you prevent yourself from building. This causes for both you and your opponent to be in a very vulnerable position for being third-partied. In this situation, I threw way too many boomboxes uncoordinatedly, which prevented me from building. Because of this, I was able to easily get third-partied and I lost the fight. Because of the boomboxes, my opponent did not immediately build when he realized we were being third-partied at, and because of that, he was able to take many damage. And I did leave the game before he died, however, chances are that he lost his fight because of the disadvantage that he was at. This clip just goes to show how boomboxes are a high-risk, high-reward weapon. Yes, they can take high ground away from an opponent, however they put you in a really bad position, and put you in a great position for your opponents to third-party you. To make sure you don't get third-partied, I suggest just being very careful of where you put the boomboxes. Be very aware, do not put the boomboxes somewhere where it will affect your own structures. So in this fight, I placed my boomboxes everywhere and caused for myself to be knocked down. If I placed 1 boombox far off to the side so where it would not affect my structure, I would have kept the height advantage and my opponent would be left exposed. I would have also been able to build when I realized that we were being third-partied. Also, in that clip, I think the third party came from when I was shooting at a plane. Before the fight I had with the cosmonaut, I was shooting at a plane, and I think that the third party came from that plane. I should not have entered a fight immediately after shooting at someone. So the fourth and final clip I want to go over in this video is what a fight would look like when you don't have a boombox. In this fight you are about to see, if I had a boombox I would have been able to easily win the fight without taking a lot of damage. However, because I didn't have a boombox, I took a lot of damage and then got third partied. So anyways, this fight starts off when a guy riffs on the other side of the map. I see him flying near me, so I shoot at him, because I wanted to get another kill. I knew he was going to go somewhere else on the map, but I knew if I shot him, even though I probably wouldn't hit him, he might drop down and might fight me. This could get me another kill and put me up to 5 kills for this match. Of course, this was a mistake of mine, because my opponent was able to drop down and get natural high ground. This meant that I had to use my mats to build up to him, and with the little mats I had, this would cause a major issue. After shooting me a little bit, my opponent then started throwing dynamite at me. I believe he threw about 6 dynamite, which was a big issue to me because I had so few mats. This caused me to run out of almost all of my mats. The dynamite is very similar to the boombox because it destroys your mats and can burn through your mats quickly. However, it's different because the dynamite is a one-time thing, so many people will build trying to counter the dynamite. And if someone's trying to shoot at you while throwing dynamite, you still can build to counter that person. That's why the boombox is so unique, because you cannot build when someone is using a boombox against you. So at this point I run out of my mats and I notice my opponent is starting to build up. Because of this, I try to get a quick shot off of him with my shotgun. I then miss my shot and he's able to hit me. At this point I thought that the fight was over. I was very weak, my opponent had plenty of mats and had the advantage in this fight. However, I managed to get a solid shot off of him before he began building. I tried to shoot him again, but he was able to build before the pellets hit him. I was able to shoot him one more time, but it wasn't able to kill him. At this point he started building up a lot and was able to take high ground. I had no mats, and at this point I knew that I would probably lose the fight. I tried SMGing him down, but he's building too fast, and the SMG was no help against his building. At this point of the fight, I would have been able to easily win if I had a boombox. I would have been able to knock him down and put him in a perfect position for shooting him in the face with a shotgun. However, I didn't have a boombox, so I went to the next best thing, knocking down his structure with my pickaxe. The reason the boombox is so great is because you can have another item knock down the structure for you. When you're knocking down the structure using your pickaxe, you're very vulnerable because an opponent can easily drop down and get the shot on you before you're able to react, build, or shoot. If I had a boombox, however, I would have been able to knock down the structure, and then I would have been ready for the opponent to drop down, and then I could have shot him then. Because I didn't have a boombox in this fight, I had to risk it, and I had to knock down his structure using the pickaxe in the fight. Doing this, I feared that my opponent would drop down and shoot me, and while I was expecting for him to jump down and shoot me, chances are that he would have shot me first, and I would have lost the fight. So I knocked down the structure, and the opponent fell down. At this point, he has a clear shot on me, and if he's able to hit the shot, he would win the fight. But luckily for me, he missed the shot, and was able to get a free shot on him. This move right here was incredibly risky. If I had a boombox, I would have been able to perform this same maneuver without nearly as much risk. I then go in with the opponent and get 6 minis from him. I then put myself in a box and drink the minis. However, the box was no use because a third party with a quad crusher was able to boost right through the box and kill me. Of course, if I did have a boombox, I still would have been in the same position and I still would have died. However, since I didn't have a boombox, I almost lost the previous fight, and I almost had one less kill in this game of Fortnite. Anyways, that is all I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, like, subscribe, or leave a comment. It really helps me out a ton, and it really helps my channel grow. The Boombox is a really cool item, and I'm really excited to see community reacts for it. In this video, I go over its pros and its cons, but many people may be frustrated how it's accounted a building. Personally, I think the Boombox is pretty balanced, but we cannot determine until the Boombox is out for a few more days. Of course, since the Boombox is in the game now, it's important that you understand how to use it properly. And after watching this video, I hope you all understand how to use the Boombox. If you have any questions or comments about the Boombox, chances are I'll be replying to them in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you have to say about the Boombox, and if you think that the Boombox is balanced or not. Anyways, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!